Well, I'm excited because this is going to be a huge competition and best versus best from tools. Well, we don't have the name yet for this one, so let's just call it which one is best. Now we're talking about Trello versus Airtable. Me and Artem, we both are huge task manager persons just because our work is the kind that we have to just do it. Otherwise, it's just crazy time scheduling and nothing good comes out of it. So that's why we use. But we had this discussion with you, Artem, like last week, and we were just talking about the task manager tools. And I was like, well, I use Trello. That's no doubt the best one out there in the market. And then you said like, no way, it's gonna be Airtable. And then okay, we have to make a video of this and let's have a battle. Kind of like a rap battle, right? Just with tools.
Without the rap, without the embarrassing rap part. So basically, you are representing Trello, and you're avid Trello user. So you will be defending Trello's honor in this video, and I will be representing Airtable, and obviously trying to convince everybody that Airtable is a much better option compared to Trello. So again, guys, if you like the format, remember to comment, subscribe. It's not a sponsored video. Obviously, we just love the tools. We want to share some of the tips and our, basically workflows that we use in our day-to-day operation. That's pretty much it. That was the whole idea. So without further ado, just let's get started. So tell me, Mikael, why the heck do you like Trello? I know it's simple, but how do you use it in your business?
Well, I can show it to you. So this is Trello, and as you can see, you can name the ones, name the titles, what are the boards, what you're having. So I obviously name it as so that I understand and remember what kind of boards I'm doing. So, well, Trello is beautiful. It looks, this is stunning, compared to Airtable. So me as a creative person, I like to use tools that also look nice. But the best thing is that, I just gotta be creative with whatever I do here. So I can just create, let's say that I would have a funnel. Well, for normal, you can make the templates out of it. So now I have to just create because I don't want to open my current projects open. So now I'm just, showing this way. But of course, you can make like a backlog. There you go. And then finished. There's what else you need here. Obviously, you would put something else there as well. You can make them look nice. You can upload pictures. You can do whatever you want so that these actually look really nice. And you can also add these different I use Trello for my work, but I also use them use this tool just for my personal stuff as well. So when we go to the summer house, we have created its own Trello board so that we can see how to use different tools, how to find stuff from the summer house. So it's good for personal and also business wise. But yeah, let's see. I'm just gonna write here record a video. Oh, that's video away. and you can modify it, but then you can also add these checklists. That's the thing what I use a lot. So I can just put whatever here. Then I can decide who to assign it. I can decide when I want to be when that should be ready. So especially if you have more people in your team, kind of makes sense to have this like a paid version so that you can just make these deadlines and assigning stuff to people. That's what we use every day. And me as a ADHD person, this is kind of like a must-have tool. It's and then we have the power apps. So you can create these own power apps so that you can just add different apps here. and make this even more powerful. If you are using Slack, you can add Slack here, and so there's a lot of like automation what you can do in here. This is owned by Atlassian, so if you're using Jira or whatever tool that Atlassian owns, it's a perfect combination. And then you can do the buttons. I think this was called, before it was called the butler or something like that, but now it's just buttons, and kind of makes sense. You can do these quick automations, like let's say that we want to move this, when something happens, then move it to top of the finish list in the Mike's is the best board. All right, and let's do that. Let's give it like finished. I suck writing. Okay, and now let's say that we have done all this crap here. Like, yeah, there we go. And we say like, okay, now this is finished. So I just click this one, and it goes straight to here, and it's marked that it's done. You can do this kind of stuff. So yeah, this is the simplest thing. I have more to show, but you can take over if you feel like it.
Basically, tell me why you like Trello, like the top 3 things that you like about Trello.
It's just easy to use. It's super user friendly. I've been using Trello for years, way back. I think it wasn't even owned by Atlassian when I first started using it. And the free version, it's something that most people can just go buy. They don't need the paid one. Obviously, the paid one is even better, but they're generous with the free plan. And yeah, I'm like, it looks nice. It's easy to use. Very, very simple to understand. And then also, if you want to, and like for our case as growth hackers, we have our clients, and our clients, the whole flow is in Trello. So we just share the board, and then our clients can follow up, what we do. And we've been using Monday before Trello, and Monday is I think it's more feature rich, but also it's more for the internal work. And Trello wins Monday for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Or at least give you a free paid account, right? If nothing else.
Yeah.
Pay for your Trello usage. All right, so very good intro. Thank you very much. Now let me show you all the cool stuff you can do with Airtable, and I will share my screen and you'll be able to see, and I will be able to hopefully convince you that you can do all the same things you can do in Trello, but much better. So first of all, you create workspaces in Airtable, and workspaces can be shared with your teammates, customers, and so forth, or you can share specific, I wouldn't call them boards, but if we're talking about Trello versus Airtable, then bases are like Trello boards. So far, very, very similar. You create teams in Trello. In Airtable, you create workspaces. You can share a whole workspace, or you can share a specific board, or in Airtable case, base. And when you create a new base, right, first of all, which is really awesome, is you can import existing data from Google Sheets, Excel, CSV, or you can just paste the data. Or you can also start from a template. So if, for example, you want to do CRM type of workflow, there is probably a template for that. If you want to do project management, there is a template for that. And those are ready-made templates. You don't have to fiddle with them, and you can, of course, customize them. But if we don't start with a ready-made table, we will just create something ourselves. Let's call it tasks. And let's choose a nice icon and change color. So looks wonderful. Remember, I'm using free version, so everything I'm showing now is available in the free version. So first of all, you create a table, right? So here we would have tasks.
Do you have the Airtable paid version?
I have paid version as well, but for the sake, I think it's worth the money. But to be honest, you can do so much with the free version. I think you need to upgrade only once you start hitting specific limits. And with With Airtable, the limit is, I think, 5,000 rows in one specific base. So there are specific limits that once you hit them, you have to upgrade to the paid version.
So basically, this is kind of like I have used a little bit of Airtable, but I'm not too familiar of it. So, but have I understood right that it's basically like a very smart Excel or Google Sheets?
It's a lot more than that. It's actually many different tools packed into Excel-like interface. And I think this is a very good segue for me to continue and start building out. And I can show you what cool things you can do with Airtable. So first of all, you create, like Google spreadsheets, you create your table structure. So you have name, which is a single line. Then you have, for example, here would be task. And here you would have notes for your task or description, for example. And then after that, you would have maybe assignee, of course, a person that you want to assign the task to. And then you have status, for example, right? And maybe deadline. Let's add deadline as well. And this would be a date, basically. And then let's choose European and then maybe include time as well. So basically, when you create your structure, you have to choose column type. So it's very similar to database in a sense. In Google Sheets and in Excel, for example, in many cases, you don't really touch column type. You just start entering data. Here, you have to describe the column type. And there are many column types: phone numbers, roll-ups, lookups, counts, formulas, ratings, duration, and so much more, right? But again, it's very easy. You don't have to spend a lot of time, selecting proper column type. But most likely, there'll be a column type that will satisfy you. And once you satisfy your needs, and once you're done, right, you can start adding tasks. So for example, here, do this, please. And then description, you can use Markdown, so you can write hello, heading, and then, maybe subheading, and so forth. Really cool stuff. You can choose assignees, so you can assign, for example, this task to me, and you can choose that it's in to-do phase now. And deadline is, for example, next Sunday. So what is really awesome about Airtable is that once you have created this structure, you can go to views and you can now consume the same data, but using different views. So for example, you can click calendar, and then it will automatically use date field, and it will create a calendar view. So you will be able to see all your tasks in calendar view, which are similar to, for example, Trello, right? So here it is, and here is our task. You can move it to a different date, and it will automatically be updated. You can also click on any date, and you can create task. Here as well, right away. Boom, it's done. Now that you have seen calendar view, you can create Kanban view, which is very much the Trello kind of functionality within Airtable. You can choose here status, and we will use status column for our status. And now you have Trello-like functionality where you are moving cards from one place to another. And if you click on a card, you will open a view where you can see all the fields. You can update the fields, but you can also have a communication with your team. You can comment on the specific task, and you can reference other people, for example, here, like so, which makes it really easy to have a discussion similar to what you have in Trello. But if you want to go even further, you have gallery view. Yeah, you have gallery view for if you, for example, want to see it as one big gallery. For example, if you're using Airtable, for example, to store content and so forth. So now if I add new field, that would be a file feed. And if I add any images, it will be displayed here in a gallery view. Again, it's all the same data, but you just consume it in a different way. Besides that, you can also create a form with just one click, and this form is automatically ready to go. So basically it means that I can now copy this form and I can send it to a customer, and using this form, customer will be able to add data to Airtable without having access to Airtable directly. So by just giving the form URL, the customer will be able to add necessary information without having, without even understanding what is Airtable and so forth. This is really good. So it kind of replaces Google Forms and Google Sheets, and also Google Calendar in a way, and also maybe file storage. But what is also really awesome is that you can go to automations and you can do automations on a whole new level. So you can create triggers and then you can decide what will happen next. You can automatically update formulas, values, and so forth, which is really awesome. You can send Slack messages, for example, when somebody submits a form and so forth. But beyond that, you can also create dashboards. So data is only as useful as, insights you get from using the data. So you can use their drag and drop interface and create an interface like dashboard for the data that you're storing here. So for example, you can create interface where you aggregate all the data, create executive summary, and so forth. And the interface is really, really simple. It's very much just, drag and drop. You decide what kind of interface you want to create. And then here, for example, of course, I can spend more time here, but I could create something like this in a few minutes.
If I would like to create this, like Looker, so which used to be Data Studio from Google or Databox. Can you make similar stuff?
Yes, you could maybe make something similar, but in Airtable, you first have to get the data. You have to get the data first here in the table, and after that, it's available for the interface. So there are many different integrations, for example, Zapier, Airtable, of course, and, to be honest, Trello has also very good integration with Zapier and Make.com, but of course, you can bring data from many different sources. So, for example, I bring customer data from Gmail and from my calendar to Airtable, then I sort it, remove duplicates, and then I have a specific interface where I can see my contacts and I can see insights based on my contact data, and I can see information that I want. So once you pump the data into Airtable, you can create interface, dashboard, or whatever that would be basically like a UI for that data. So if, for example, these views that you see here, and in the paid version, you also have timeline and Gantt options as well. But if these views are not enough for you, you can go to interface and build your own.
What is Gantt?
Gantt, basically, it's a Gantt chart where you can see like it's like a waterfall way of looking at the tasks, basically. So you will see the sequence of tasks and you will see their dates. Like a Gantt view, it allows you to see dependencies of tasks and so forth. It's a Gantt view Airtable. We can see it here. I think it's nothing really too fancy. It looks like this, and it's available only in the paid version. So it basically will show our data in this way. You'll be able to see all the data in this format. And of course, you can group, you can sort, and so forth. This is what I like about it. You can also share views, so you can share, you can create URL for a specific view, so you can give it to your customer. For example, if I only want to share calendar, for example, I can create shareable link and share only calendar view to my customers so they know, for example, how the project is doing, for example, without giving them access to the whole base. Or I can share access to the whole base and invite, for example, customer to participate in it. So, and of course, you can have multiple tables within the same document, table 2. So that way you can create complex table structures.
What is the benefit for having more tables? It's just same like with the spreadsheet that you can have these like a multiple tables there, and then you can take the data from one to and import it to another.
If you have multiple tables, you can actually refer from one table to another. So for example, if I create table called clients, I can create a client, for example, X, notes, client that I like, and then let's remove assignee, and then status, let's remove that as well. So for example, here I have clients table, and here I have just one client. Now I can go to tasks, create new column, and then here I can use lookup, call it client, and then you can create basically a field. Okay, so I think we need to create a link to another record. Yeah. Okay, so link to clients directly. Boom. Link to clients. And now, and we choose here name, so we can see that. Now we have now client, and I can just choose from here client X, and now I can refer from one table to another table and use that data. So from that perspective, it's very, very useful once you start getting into a more complex structure, data structure, and most importantly, it reminds me of traditional database structure. So foreign keys, and if you guys are familiar with, for example, Postgres, SQL, or MySQL, this is like foreign key in database.
Based on this review, I would say that Airtable is a lot more versatile tool than Trello, for sure, because you can do so many things there. You can probably even create some sort of like small apps or something like that. Good for sure if you're a coder or like a technical person, like engineer. If your brains are working like an engineer, then Airtable would be definitely like the go-to solution. Then me as because you can code you can do the development stuff. So obviously, for you SQLs and that is very, very familiar and backend stuff. For me, I'm a creative person, so for me, this kind of like how things look, and that's why I use Trello, because it's easier for the eye when I just do not want to do stuff graphically. Like we were also talking with you about using Miro versus, I don't know, you were using something else. You didn't use Miro, but this is like a white canvas tool. And for me, because I just create everything from wireframes and just understanding it graphically. So that's why I tried to learn to use Airtable a year ago, I think, because I really wanted to try and learn and use it. But because I don't have a engineer's brain, I have the creative brain. So my brain it was hurting.
What I can say, and here I can maybe agree with you on some points for sure. So Trello is really good when you just want to get going and you don't need a specific structure. You just need to start doing things quickly without a rigid structure. It's very flowy, kind of go with the flow kind of tool, but it still has a lot of functionality that is hidden kind of, so you don't have to even see it if you don't want it. Airtable works in another way, I think. It brings a lot of functionality, but you can do a few simple steps to make it as easy as Trello. So, creating a Kanban board and just using that and not touching anything else and just creating structure for your table will be good enough, but it works in a different way. It's very powerful, but you can make it very simple. But by default, it's very powerful. While Trello is very simple, but it can be very powerful if you want to. They take kind of different approach to it, like to the interface, I think. Airtable shows you everything right away and like, hey, you can do amazing things, just like, let's get going. And then you have to do a little bit of work to make it simple if you want it to. But Trello makes it simple from the get-go and kind of hides the complexity until you need it.
Well, the last question is that, can you change your background? Because that's what you can do in Trello. That's the most important part of any work.
So if that's the most important part for you in a tool
that is basically
that you are using to make money and organize your life, the answer is no. I don't think you can change your background. You can change color of the accent on the page, but you cannot change background picture. So what we can deduce from our conversation, if you want to change your background, go with Trello. In every other case, go with Airtable.
Exactly. There you go.
Yes, we brought so much facts to the table and didn't talk about changing background at all. But anyway, the point is, if you want something simple, if you just want to get going, I think Trello is easier. It just kind of clicks with the brain in different way. But if you want a rigid structure and you want to reuse your data in many different ways, and you want to kind of, utilize your data in different views, forms, and so forth, I think Airtable is a much better option. So I guess, in this case, I wouldn't say Trello is better or Airtable is better. Maybe you guys can write in your comments below the video. You can maybe let us know. What do you think? Who actually did win this round? Was it Airtable or was it Trello? And of course, if you have awesome tips or you want to share ideas on how you use Trello or Airtable, or maybe there is even better tool that we don't know about, please, guys, let us know in the comments box.
Even though I don't believe that there's better one, but yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I think it's time to wrap up. Mikael, thank you very much for this informative. I think this was a really, really fun episode. And we'll continue doing this because we have Notion, we have Miro, we have Freeform. There are so many awesome tools. And don't even get me started on email automation, lead generation, PPC
AI
management, and so forth. I think we will never run out of tools.
No. So this, which one is better sequel is going to last until the 10,000s. Can't even 10,000s. How you say it? I don't know. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah. It will last us until end of time.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we need to let Mikael get some coffee and just, close his computer for today. Guys, let us know what you thought. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully we were able to entertain you a little bit. Have a wonderful day. And remember, like and subscribe. And please comment below the video. Let us know what you think. Thank you so much and take care. Thank you, Mikael.
Bye.